Many people from rural communities, such as my own constituency of Cavan Monaghan, who through necessity commute to the larger urban centres such as Dublin, are heavily reliant on private cars due to the lack of public transport options in rural Ireland. But where they do exist, they can often be very unreliable, leaving commuters stranded in the rain and cold waiting for the next bus, hoping that it will not be full. Now, there's an hourly bus service from Cavan to Dublin, but the issue is capacity, especially with the evening services, and regularly buses are at capacity when they reach the last stop out of Dublin at Blanchardstown, and they have to leave people behind to wait for an hour for the next bus, which often is also at capacity. People have told me they sometimes end up 2 to 3 hours home later than anticipated. So there's a clear need for an additional service on that route, and there's no proper shelter as well at that particular location. Also, people living in more rural areas depend on the local link to provide public transport, and it can be very sketchy across Cavan and Monaghan. Now, I will acknowledge there are some areas well serviced by it, but my own area, particularly of Kinderleck and Ballyjim there's people constantly looking for a service into the county town. We have 2 services, one on a Thursday and one on a Saturday, and it's not sufficient. Now, Cavan Monaghan Local Link have applied for resources to activate new routes from those areas, but have not yet been approved by Transport for Ireland. So, I'm just hoping that they will be approved in very near future, because I think if affordable and accessible and reliable public transport infrastructure was expanded across the island, it would deliver social and economic benefits to all our cities and towns and regions, but it also would meet our obligations of reducing our carbon emissions. And I think these issues are worse still for people with disabilities who face multiple barriers to using public transport. You've broken lifts, having to give notice before their journey, so there's a ramp put in place, or limited wheelchair spaces on buses as well. And I think for the state to align the public transport system with the UN CRPD, there's a need to make it universally accessible. So I suppose to this end, the public transport accessibility retrofit programme budget needs to be increased to ensure accessibility at all train stations and platforms and bus stops. And there needs to be annual targets developed for retrofitting of older public transport infrastructure, with report measuring progress against these targets. I heard my colleague Deputy Pierce Doherty mentioning about a rail system in Donegal, and that the last train to leave Donegal was in the early 60s. Well, the same applies to Cavan. I think it was probably the same train service that used to go through Cavan and on to Donegal, and those counties now are all left without a train service for that amount of time. And I know you said that the Navan railway line will be extended in 20 years' time. I mean, that needs to be addressed in a much shorter space of time. Thank you.